For today's video, we are starting the Skylanders Spyro's Adventure remaining random Nuzlocke. The rules for this Nuzlocke are pretty much the same as all previous randomizer Nuzlockes I've done in Spyro's Adventure, being no hats, no variant Skylanders, no switching Skylanders once a chapter begins, unless a Skylander is defeated, and the basic Nuzlocke rules of once a Skylander is defeated, they can't be used again in the rest of the playthrough. The reason I chose these rules is no hats. Hats give a slight benefit, and honestly, I just don't like the appearance of them, so I think it works out pretty well to not use them. No variant Skylanders. This way, throughout the 4 total randomized series, making this actually the 4th of the randomized series, we will get to use all of the regular 8 Skylanders. And also, I believe the variant Skylanders have a slight benefit in some categories, so removing them makes it a little bit more challenging. And then no switching Skylanders. I think this one's obvious, because if you allow yourself to switch Skylanders, you can just switch a Skylander out of any difficult situation and make it way too easy, in my opinion. And then obviously the basic Nuzlocke rules, that's how the whole series comes around. Because if we weren't doing the Nuzlocke rules, it would be like just any other playthrough, and there wouldn't really be a way we could really lose the series then. And now the only big difference between this lock and the three previous SSA randomizer Nuzlockes are, we know which 8 Skylanders we can and hopefully will get in this series, because we have used all the other Skylanders. So the random aspect of this log is the order and the randomness of these being the remaining Skylanders based on our previous SSA randomized Nuzlockes. So in this series, I will only spin the wheel for the elements because we only have 1 Skylander of each element available. So yeah, that's the randomizer is a little bit different for this video other than the 3 previous attempts, like I said, because we know which Skylanders we can get in this attempt compared to the previous ones where we could get like any of the 4 or any of the 3 or any of 2, but we know which one we'll get. It's just the randomness is like the element order. And then the 8 Skylanders we can get in this series are Spyro, Drobot, Igniter, Warnado, Prison Break, Stump Smash, Whamshell, and Ghost Roaster. I think that's a really good group of 8. We do have some of the best Skylanders, and then some of the I don't want to say worst, but it's a good mix, I'll say, of some of the best and some of the not so best. And then some other quick notes on this series is I'm using my already leveled up Skylanders because I just don't want to reset them because they are the ones I got when the game first came out. Also, we will get a new Skylander around every 3-ish chapters, and I do not play any outside of what is recorded for this series, so I don't really get any practice outside of literally what you all are seeing recorded. And I understand these rules might not seem that hard or crazy, but in this series, like the 3 previous ones I've recorded, I've lost at least half of my team in all 3 attempts so far. So with this series, the goal is obviously to have all 8 Skylanders, make it all the way through, but I really hope we at least get 5 or more, so that way this would make my best attempt. And it should be, because, you know, we've done 3, so we kind of have a pretty good idea of what all will happen. And now for the fun part, the randomizer to see who our starter options will be. Okay, here we are on the randomizer. It feels like it's been forever since I've used this. Let's see, when's the last... 21 days ago, so yeah, it's been at least 3 weeks since we've had to do a randomizer part for a video, so yeah, so all we have to use is element, which is kind of interesting. Yeah, really excited. Like I said, I don't know how well I explained this. I thought I would kind of over-explained, and then I don't feel like I explained it well enough, but yeah, the main randomness aspect of this is just the order in which we will receive all these team members, because hopefully we do get them all, and like I said, it is kind of random that these were the 8 we got, but the main part of the randomness for this specific log is just the order. So yeah, let's see who our starter options are. Really, really excited to see this. I think this is one of the most fun parts in this series, is just seeing your starter options. Because like it combines like the Pokemon randomizer and Nuzlocke aspect with the Skylanders, which is why I kind of decided to make this series. No way. Air. Oh my gosh. I can't pick Air again. Warnado, I think, would actually be a kind of fun starter option because a lot of people aren't crazy about him, and I like his design, but I actually haven't used him in so long that I don't really remember what I think on him. But I've chosen an Air starter for the past 2 locks. Like, it's honestly crazy that I got Air starter options for the past 2 locks, but to choose another one, I think would almost be overdoing it, but you never know. There's a few starter options that I'd probably rather have less than Warnado, so Warnado's definitely an option. Yeah, let's see who the other 2 are. Undead or fire? Fire. Okay, igniter. Ooh, that's interesting. I probably will pick igniter out of these two, if depending on what this last one is. Just out of these two, just because I really think that's actually a tough decision for me because I really like both of those. But igniter, at least when it be a third era element starter. And the final one, is it water or magic? Water. Dang, we almost. I was just saying about how it was almost like a Pokemon randomizer Nuzlocke because we had like the randomizer aspect, but we literally get water, fire, but instead of grass, we get air. Okay, yeah, I guess I'll pick who I'm picking right now. Okay, so I did end up choosing to go with Igniter. Um, I actually did think a little bit about this, but Igniter I think just makes the most sense because I don't know. I didn't really want to do Wham Shell. I mean, I liked him better than a few of the other options, but and Mornado I think really would have been a fun option because I mean the air like kind of boss fight, but I don't really consider it a boss fight because you don't fight like the evil Skylanders or anything. It's like the first like element like that you unlock for like the core thing, um, the core of light. That's what I'm thinking of. So Ornado would have been cool for all that, but like I said, I've already picked air element for the last two locks as my starter, so I can't do that again. Um, and then it was between Whamshell and Igniter, and personally, I think I would just rather use Igniter because I don't remember which path I did with Igniter, but I know he's got two like really interesting different move sets. Like one I think is more on the sword, and one's like more on his like move that he like jumps out of his like suit. So with that being like such different like paths, I really think it would be fun to like experiment more with him, or not experiment, but like get more used to his move set, so that way we could be better with him later. And I really think I've watched a bunch of tier lists, and I can't remember exactly where people were acting on Igniter, but I think he's like one of the better melee Skylanders. But obviously, melee Skylanders normally aren't as good as ranged Skylanders. But we've got a really good ranged Skylander that we will hopefully be getting in this lock soon. But yeah, that's it. Let's play SSA. Oh, and also, so for this video too, if I didn't mention this, so we did like the intro part. We just got our first Skylander. We will do the first two chapters, and then we will do the randomizer to see who's joining Igniter. One of 7. Okay, here we are back. Well, I guess not back. On the first video of the Skylanders Spyro's Adventure remaining randomized lock. Hopefully I don't accidentally say the wrong thing. I guess we'll delete the previous save file. I don't remember which. I think it's this one's the one that we just started. It really don't matter. I don't really care about these save files other than my 100% one, so yeah, we'll just do the bottom one. We'll probably end up deleting this. But yeah, first chapter. Shouldn't be any difficulties, obviously. This is the first chapter. I think you only have like one enemy. But yeah, so here we are with our starter. As you all know, Igniter. Okay, we'll skip Hugo's little scene. So yeah, based on how his sword looks, I want to guess I went down the sword pathway. Dang, so this is one reason I don't like to reset my Skylanders. You can see Igniter only has 23 coins. That means Igniter is a Skylander I've not used a ton because I've not reset any of my Skylanders, at least to my knowledge, or I don't remember if I did. And the fact that he only has that little means I pretty much got his upgrade completed and then quit using him. We are going to check one thing though, his pathway. Oh wow, so it actually does not look like I went down the sword pathway. It looks like I actually went down the flame, so not this pathway. Not this pathway. I mean, I think his sword path is good anyway, but we're this pathway. So we'll see how that goes. I think most people prefer his other pathway, actually, so we'll see about that. We're definitely not beating this chapter in, I'll let him talk.
It's very dangerous. Taking down that wall seems like it might help. Maybe that old cannon will work.
Okay, yeah. We're definitely not doing this chapter in like a speed thing. And if you watch this series, that's not something I'm trying to do anyways. Yeah, we're just trying to beat the game with as little knockouts as possible.
Hey, you're a Skylander.
I forget that you can't do the cutscenes. Honestly, I might. I'm not for sure.
Grab that key and get us out of here?
But if you can do on the 100% file and skip some of these extra cutscenes, I would 100% get on that save file. The main reason why I just don't do it on that save file is just so like I can kind of prove that like I'm only doing one chapter. But I think at this point you all have seen me do enough videos that you probably believe me. But yeah, that's pretty much the reason. But yeah, I'm not crazy with the cutscene. Oh, and what I was saying before the double skip, or before both cutscenes, I don't think we're beating this chapter in any speed time thing because, for one, we went and paused for a second to do some stuff, but also, Igniter is, this is one thing I've realized, seems to be a pretty slow Skylander. He doesn't have any speed moves, and just walks pretty slow, which is actually not a very good thing to me because I like a faster range Skylander generally, but I do think Igniter's good, but he seems to not be my general playstyle Skylander, if that makes sense.
Hope there are more of you. We have a doodle of a problem here. See, the bridge is out, and people
I hate these early
on the other side
cutscenes.
of Turtle Gully. Gosh,
I think they get
hope
better
they're
as the
okay.
game goes, though.
Lobbers over there can't move that turtle. Could you please help him?
I love Skylander's turtles, though. Yeah, Igniter needs all the coins he can get.
By Pythagoras' theorem, you're a
Pythagoras'
Skylander,
theorem.
aren't you? Good thing you're here. I've got a big brain, but pretty puny muscles. I could use a powerful hero such as yourself to help me move this turtle.
Push the turtle to clear up.
Oh, and this is the same day I just recorded the randomizer, or the re-randomizer recap video. Yeah, recorded that just earlier. Don't have a clue how that video's doing. Hope it's doing well. Honestly, I really think that's one of the best videos I've ever made. If you want to see, I would definitely recommend checking that video out. That'll give you a good idea about this series. Oh, there's Flynn.
Name's Flynn. Hugo told me to meet you.
His voice is like so funny now. Because like at the time he was the only character I knew, I think, with this voice, but now like knowing all the characters he is,
I'll show you.
it's definitely interesting.
Use those bounce pads. They're super springy.
Oh, going back to the recap thing though, I really think that's one of the best videos I've ever made. And that's not just to get you to watch it, but genuinely, of all the videos I've made, that's one of the ones I put the most work into and time. Because it was pretty much like just a video going over like the whole series of one of these, and I just think it ended up being a really solid video. Okay, so the first fight. So yeah, we'll try out this move. Can we walk here? Oh, so that is actually a spot. I've had flying Skylanders the last 2 times, so I can just always go there. Okay, so some
You
chompies.
again. Thank goodness. I'd gladly escape this raging tornado, except these monster gates are in my way. Monsters always stake out their territory by putting up these gates. And these are particularly nasty little monsters too. Hungry little chompies. I'll be on the safe side.
After
thank
this,
you.
I'll say 2 more things
Sure
about
is
Igniter.
big on the choppy side, which is where you are. But don't worry, these gates will open once all of the monsters have been defeated. So all you have to do is just get rid of all of the choppies in there, and everything should be just fine. Good luck.
Okay, so the chompies. Okay, this is what I was going to say about Igniter. I think one of the reasons why I might have went down, so 28, that's pretty good. One of the reasons I think I might have went down this pathway is, his other move, he's like one of the only Skylanders I think in SSA that had a move like that, where it was like he would come out of his thing and like become a different thing, I guess, if that makes sense. I know that sounds weird, but if you know Igniter, you probably understand. So, so I probably went that pathway just because it was something different compared to like the other pathway. Because there's a lot of, just melee sword Skylanders, but not as many that have like something like that.
These are elemental gates.
Oh, come on.
Behind these kinds of gates are some great treasures, but they can only be opened by a Skylander of the same element. So, like, the water gate can be opened by a water Skylander.
The cutscenes, I forgot how bad they were in this first one.
The tech gate is, well, by a tech champion.
It is cool though, I will admit, that they did the gates as just the starter options in the first one. Okay, And what I was saying, so yeah, that's probably why I went down that pathway, and maybe not because I don't. Some of the some of the Skylanders for SSA, like a year, like 2 or 3 years ago, I went back and finished, filled out all of them.
Tornado.
Uh, and I don't know if Igniter was one that like was already had his pathway, and I just hadn't maxed it out, or he was one that what the deal was, but. Clearly, I ended up going down this pathway, but I will admit it is cool because that is a move that only like he has. Because there's a lot of just melee sword Skylanders, so I do kind of like that. But the other thing I was going to say about Igniter, I do have a second Series 1 Igniter because of the Spyro's Adventure 3DS starter pack, which I did buy and open on this channel. And yeah, so I do have an Igniter that's literally never been used, so I can just always go down the other pathway with that one. Okay, first chapter complete. Yeah. Good. I will say honestly, so far, I'm not crazy about Igniter so far. I mean, I know he didn't have a speed move or anything, but like, it's just so convenient just having a faster Skylander, and it's more fun in my opinion.
That takes years of practice.
So not having any speed
I
is
know,
not something I'm
amazing,
crazy
right?
about.
Well, you can thank me later.
And like I said, generally the melee Skylanders aren't as good, but I don't know. I actually kind of liked his other pathway though, and I mean I'm sure the sword pathway is probably better though, just because the sword obviously is so good.
Different areas of Skylands have different elemental energies. When you switch to using Skylanders of the same element in that area,
Another
you will
unskippable
have
cutscene.
extra power and reap extra rewards. Skylanders of the tech element.
I'm trying to see, maybe if I use this, I'm trying to figure out if he goes any faster, like you do, like the sword thing.
To unlock this gate,
Okay. Igniter, if nothing else, at least one good thing for him in this series, he will have more coins. Which he clearly needed. Okay. I want to find a decent enemy. I think there's probably some in this chapter where I can actually use his other move, because I want to see. It's got more range, obviously, which is kind of a good thing. Okay, perfect. One of these Drow Spearmint or Drow Spearmint. I think it's Drow. Yeah, so that actually does have some range, so that actually might be good. Okay. How far can you go? Okay, you can actually go really far. And I don't know if it's your physical body or the fire body that takes damage.
Skylanders of the magic element are stronger in this zone.
Because, I mean, I honestly assume it's like his armor that takes damage. I mean, I would assume it's actually, like, logically I would think it's his fire, but it doesn't seem like the, like, running fire can take any damage. This might actually be better than I thought, actually, with his other move. Because his other move, you don't have to, like, take any damage. Obviously, the one thing that I can see could be an issue with that is the, like, elemental boss fights, because you have to, obviously you've got to move around, so you can't use a move like this and move around much. Okay, that actually does such good damage, though. 50, and then, like, 15 for, like, really fast. I will say, though, one thing I just realized with Igniter, he's not as bulky as I thought he would be. I thought, like, he was, like, a slower, bulkier Skylander. And he's not super, super bulky. I mean, 480 is actually kind of low, I feel like. Like, it's not so low that it's horrible, but for a melee, slower Skylander, that is a little rough, I will say. Okay, actually, I think that's the best way to clear out some. I'm guessing his other pathways where you get combos, because I was just trying to combo, and it doesn't seem like he's got a combo, but I assume his other pathway has a combo. Oh. Okay, yeah, Igniter's gonna be better on coins, which is a good thing for him. I'm gonna check this one more. So dances with fire, flames move faster and does increased damage. While in flame form, press A to okay, so that's what I was wondering, because I just thought I did something when I pressed A. Fire 2 additional flame. Control. Okay, that's what I was trying to figure out. So both Igniter forms have that flame thing is controllable. Okay. No, we're just getting the coins. We don't care about the elemental gate. I don't know if I've explained this already. I think I might have kind of brushed over it, but yeah. For this series, we are just trying to beat the game with as little losses as possible. So we are not trying to do any of that extra optional stuff. It's just because it has no benefit to us. In fact, it honestly could be it could hurt us because we could take damage there and possibly lose a Skylander for something we didn't mean to do. 499, almost 500. Okay. If you run them off the stadium, or yeah, so Igniter, enemies like this you're great against because you can just, he's actually got some of the best range in the game if you do this. I mean, yeah, we've pretty much already cleared out this spot. I still haven't even used his one move yet. And I still have not figured out which part of him takes damage yet. Okay, let's try this move. Okay. I was not as crazy on Igniter the first chapter, but after using him a little bit more, I'm starting to like him more, actually. I really like his one move, actually, which I thought was maybe the worst path, but it seems to actually be pretty interesting. And like I said, my logic why the reason I think I might have chose that pathway actually kind of stands. There's not many Skylanders that can do that type of move that he was doing. Because, like I said, there's a lot of sword Skylanders, so the Skylander that can do this is actually pretty different. So I actually kind of like that. Okay, found Callie, fun chapter. But yeah, let's see. So yeah, that's it for this first video. Next video we'll do 2 more chapters and probably be using whoever we get right here because we are going to do the randomizer. I hope you all enjoyed this first video up until this point, but yeah, we'll be doing the randomizer. We'll say really hoping for one of the 2 dragons. I mean, Drobot's obviously one of the best Skylanders in the game, and I really think I don't think I use Spyro a ton actually, but I think he's a really good Skylander for a series like this. The more I've thought about it, because he has a speed move, a range move. So yeah, I really think both those dragons would be really good in this lock. So yeah, excited to see who's joining Igniter right here, and probably who you all will be seeing in the next video. Okay, here we are on the randomizer. Yeah, so we just have to go straight to element because none of the other stuff really matters. The only element we obviously can't get is fire, but really excited to see who's going to join this team. No way. Almost had tech. We literally would have had Drobot right now, which would have been crazy. Honestly, kind of like a stealth elf situation, though, I think, where if you get Drobot too early in this series, he'll just, like, do too good, honestly. So, probably for the best we don't get Drobot this early, but still, really excited, though, with Whamshell, who was actually another starter option. So, literally the 2 that I was kind of deciding between more because even though I honestly might like Warnado the best of the 3 because I think he's a speed move and just I kind of like the more animal-like Skylanders. And I know Whamshell's a crab guy thing, but still, really excited for Whamshell. Like I said, kind of debated between him and Igniter, so it's kind of fitting, I guess, that we get him this early on. But yeah, so far so good. Really liking how the team is starting, even though, I mean, I pretty much know what the team will look like at the end, just depending on, you know, who's still available. But yeah, thank you all so much for watching. I'd love to know what you all think on this first video in the series, and I'm out.